Like, Max would be a legit good politician and or lobbyist, in my opinion.
He would. He would hate it, but he would be good at it.
He would be great at it.
Yeah.
And that could be his worm tongue, just telling him what to do.
Yes. Oh, that's what I need. I need a t-shirt of Max sitting on the throne as King Theoden. Then Mark just sitting there like whispering. Hello and welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that's perfectly balanced as all things should be. My name is Isaac Edlin. I am your host for tonight, and with me I have one Infinity Bro. It is the tinfoil hat distributor of the Infinity Bros universe, Mark Jones.
I'm welcome. Oh, wow. Edit that, Isaac. Glad to be here. It's been way too long, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I don't even remember the last time I was on a podcast, or on this podcast.
Dude, it's been a hot minute.
I'm pretty sure I had Bernie.
How old now? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, she's almost going to be 3 months in a week or two. Yeah.
So many life things happening in the Infinity Bros. You having another baby, Robbie's having had another baby, and then Zayne gets married this past weekend.
Yeah. Zayne, our wonderful Zayne, off the market. I mean, he's been off the market for a year, but yeah, he's now.
That is one thing that has happened. Official shout out on the Infinity Bros podcast to Infinity Bro Zayne Ellis, the enigma of the Infinity Bros universe. He finally is married. Got married last weekend. All the Infinity Bros were in attendance. We actually got a picture, which I'm really excited to see. That was literally the first picture that I think we've all gotten together since we're at the 4th of July. That one. Yeah. So it's been a hot minute. Like, I think we probably have all hung out together. Maybe not, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it.
I don't think, I was just going to say, I don't think I've seen Jarrett in person since the 4th of July weekend.
Maybe not. So, that's true.
But he's been to Minnesota, but like just schedules didn't match up for me to come hang out. Because I feel like you five have hung out before.
Oh, yeah, like, definitely.
Post the 4th of July weekend, but...
So, for those of you who are wondering who the heck all these people are, maybe the first time you're listening to the Infinity Bros podcast, we have a cast of 6 Infinity Bros that rotate on this podcast to talk nerdy stuff. Marvel, Star Wars, DC, films, TV, video games, kind of whatever we're feeling. And this is one of those episodes. This is like a retro Infinity Bros episode, like back in the days of COVID, when there was no content coming out and we were like, all right, guys, let's pivot to some just fun stuff. So we're going to have a fun episode together, Mark. Okay? We're going to have a fun episode.
We're not going to talk about, and this could be deleted. We're not going to talk about sex in the Christian household and how it's magic special, no matter what purity culture you grew up in.
Yeah, apparently that caused a rift in our...
Yeah, I was just like, hey, I'm listening to your podcast. And everyone's like, how dare you come at purity culture? I'm like, oh, dude, I'm not. I'm just like, some purity culture is, well, I am, kind of. But
yeah, we end up talking about a lot of things on the podcast. I mean, you know what? With me and you, we never know what it's going to come around to. So maybe we'll talk about purity culture.
We have a groundbreaking theological discussion.
It's not on the docket, but it might sneak its way in there somehow.
I'd be out of my realm on that. I'd be a good moderator.
Hey, I've got a lot of expertise that I can give. You can take it or leave it. We'll leave it at that. But we are going to be doing some nerd news. We're going to be doing some hot and snot. I don't even remember the last time we did hot and snot.
Been a while.
That's a segment where it's been a hot minute. This is a segment where we just talk about the hots, the good things and the bad things, the snots that we've been experiencing. TV, video games, movies, life. I mean, Zayne getting married, I guess that was a hot. Could throw that on the list,
You just a throwback
having a baby, I guess.
Like when we did the Stanleys, and like one of them was like the worst things that happened, and Zayne's number one, which was not on any of our lists. Hey, remember when I almost died last year from a pulmonary embolism? Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. That's pretty. That freaking sucks.
But You know what? Like, and you probably were involved in some of it, or at least heard part of it, but like, that's like now part of his life story. Cause like he has a pulmonary embolism, almost dies, is in the ICU for like a week. And then he's like, oh
Right.
man, like I got to turn my life around. And then he meets the love of his life and gets married like a year later. It just kind of insane, actually. So
Mm-hmm.
kudos to you, Zane. Way to go. So yeah, hot and snot. We're going to talk about that, and then we've got a special top 6 that Mark so graciously has suggested for me. Basically, we're going to talk our top 6 Nicolas Cage movies.
The
So
two
it's going to
topics
be
you brought up,
blast.
I was like, I have not finished either of those properties, so
Yeah,
here's
actually, I'm going to talk about one of them, or
good old
an
reliable.
adjacent thing
Yeah,
in hot and snot. But yeah, I mean, we are going to be coming out with episodes on Andor and The Last of Us season 2. I still haven't finished The Last of Us season 2, so I'm in the same boat.
I didn't even started that.
I would have, like, if you had finished it, or like we're at the same boat with me, I would have like tried to power through and like finish it for an episode. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
completely honest. Like I think I've watched 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm just not feeling the urge to like. I will finish it for sure. Like I definitely will, but I'm
Well,
not feeling the urgency to like go watch it right now.
and
You
it
know?
doesn't help someone like me who hasn't started it. Which I mean, I love the first season, but now seeing how much crap has been given to the second season, and I just saw a meme where it's like, here's the reviews of the first season. They're all great. They're
Mm-hmm.
all green, and then there's that second season where it's like episodes 3 4 5
Yeah.
are just awful rating, and like there's comments are like, yeah, episodes 3 through 5 are just filler episodes. They could have just finished this whole thing in 4 episodes and been done
Yeah.
with it. So
Right.
I mean that kind of
Well, and
stinks.
it doesn't really help that there's a lot of controversy around the second game as well, which, like the first game, everybody agrees is like pretty phenomenal. First season of The Last of Us was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, the second season, from what I understand, this is again, I have not finished the season, but they're kind of like starting to break off a little bit more from the game. I believe they're breaking
Mm-hmm.
part 2, like the game, into 2 seasons
Mm.
is what I've been hearing. So it's going to be a little different, structured a little differently. A lot of people aren't on board with Bella Ramsey either as Ellie, because she just doesn't
Right.
like look the part, is kind of the big hubbub online. I thought she did great during season 1, so I guess I'll have to continue watching
Right.
season 2 to form a full opinion on it. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going around online.
And
So
like people forget, like she was cast for Last of Us kind of on the heels of her performance in Game of Thrones.
right,
So
true.
and then the
Yep.
longer you're in the public eye, you either get more accepting of the public or the public turns against you. So
True.
and that's what happened to Bella Ramsey.
Yep, it is. So stay tuned. We will be coming out with a review of The Last of Us Season 2 eventually, when some of us get around to watching it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Super awesome pop culture entertainment podcast here. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff in store. So let's go ahead and start it off with some nerd news.
Hey Zane, I was looking into getting into this Gunpla thing. There's one called the Unicorn Banshee. What the heck is that all about? Actually, Jarrett, what you're thinking of is RX-0 Unicorn Gundam 2 Banshee, which is from the Mobile Suit Gundam. Actually, you know what? It's time for nerd news.
All right. Number one thing that I know you were just burning with a passion to talk about, Mark, is that Sydney Sweeney is getting a Dr. Squatch bathwater soap.
Yep. Super hot and
So
ready for that.
I literally was scrolling on Twitter and I saw a picture of this and I was like, what the heck are we doing? What are we talking about here? Apparently, I didn't dive into the story because I literally do not care. But apparently somebody had asked Sydney Sweeney about her bath water or something like that. Like, that was a thing probably pre-COVID,
the
honestly,
COVID.
where that like
Yeah,
gamer
sure.
girl was like
Yep.
selling her bath water type stuff.
Yep.
Long time ago. But apparently it's still circulating in the news sphere because somebody asked her about it and she was like, oh yeah, it'd be kind of cool to bring it to the fans, and we're doing it in the form of soap. So Dr. Squatch partnered with her and is literally making Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap. So
Yep, that's a thing. So my background with Dr. Squatch is before they got like real big and in like in big box stores, I would subscribe to them. Like I got their soaps when it was so cool, man. When they were indie,
Yeah, man.
and their soaps
You're
were
such
like.
a hipster.
And however, I will say this: once they went to mass producing them, the soap did change. Like it's clearly made for mass. It's still good, anyways. So like I still get the emails from them, and I saw this, and I was just like, "Wow, are they going to sell these for like $200 at like a bar?" And when I
Yeah,
went on,
for real.
when you said that, because I didn't think anything of it, and I should have shared it with the group when I first saw it, because that's right up like our main friend groups, like just like Raz and Robert, one of our mutual friends, Robert, about this. And you go online, I think you can just literally put your information in, and like it's to win them. You could
So it's
go.
not going to be
I'm
mass
sure they'll sell
produced
some.
and sold.
Well, unless the thing I read was more, you just get on a list and then you get to buy one if your number is picked. But how I understood it was like you get one. So we'll see. I did sign up just for Robert. So
I literally thought about asking for his info so I could sign him up for it. So
well,
I'm glad somebody did.
Isaac,
great job.
We have a football document sheet that has the members' personal information on it.
That's a great point.
How do you
that
think
I
stuff
did not
gets
think
sent
of.
to people without their knowledge?
That's a great
In our
point,
group.
and you're more on top of that than I am, because I could have been sending gifts to people this whole time.
Like you could have been, yeah.
Kudos to you. So if you're interested in getting some Dr. Squatch Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap, go check out their website, because I am not going to put a link in the show notes.
Or if you're in, not paid for advertising, if you're like, I want to get bar soap, they're Pine Tar, which I believe you can get at big box stores. But like that's been my favorite. That's the one that's kind of stayed the same. So I'm all about that.
Good to know. I actually just recently, in the past like couple months, started buying Dr. Squatch soap. Yep. So, all right, I'm taking your recommendation.
There's like a blue one. It's like the fresh water. That's another good one if you get the shampoo for it. If you're a Costco person, they now have them like in the bulk buys. That's your steal for a deal for them. So
there you go. Nice. Yep. Very nice. So there you go. That's our first bit of nerd news, but I knew you wanted to talk about that. So
yep, I was hard pressed to talk about
just
it.
burning with the passion to talk about it. And this is a little bit more pop culture and nerd related. There apparently was some leaks about the Fantastic Four First Steps screening that came out on Reddit. So it is Reddit. These could be totally, completely false or made up,
or absolutely 100% true.
Or absolutely 100% true. They literally could be. But there was a lot of semi-concerning things that were brought up in that leak. They said it was kind of a run-of-the-mill superhero movie with some notable performances, being Ralph Ineson's Galactus being really good. But same viewer said the film's plot feels very Lovecraftian with a cosmic horror angle that gives it a lot of personality.
Lovecraftian is a very interesting description of this movie.
That is interesting. When I saw that word, I was like, okay, that's not really a word you'd use to describe a superhero movie, number one. Right. And Fantastic Four is absolutely the not right place for that term. So that's interesting, and it could just be that this Reddit user is.
I'm bringing you into the weeds here.
Okay,
and I'm notorious for just stopping people, so I'm apologizing ahead of time.
No, please do continue.
If we go back to Max and I's discussion about what this movie could be back in like October of 24, if it's Lovecraftian, are we getting the puppet master type of aspect to it, where there's a darker essence kind of controlling everything, and whether that puppet master might actually be that in the Marvel universe, or Dr. Doom has a hand on it, pushing the narrative a certain way, just kind of like how we got King pushing the narrative a certain way.
Right.
Or all of it could still be King. Like, I don't know. But anyways.
That would be interesting. If they still had King around after this, that would be interesting.
Well, just like everything, apparently they said they might bring him back. So, and Eddie Feige said he would never see Patrick Stewart as Xavier again, and he showed up. So
yeah,
and he's showing up again.
We know that.
Yeah,
Lovecraftian is a really interesting term though, because when I think Lovecraftian, I think a very creepy vibe, but it's kind of shiny and looks good on the outside, but there's something wrong that you can't really put a finger on. When I think about Lovecraftian, some of those like short stories that you think of, that's kind of the vibe that comes to me. And I'm like, you know what? That actually could work really well with this, because we know this universe looks like it's perfect. Like it looks like they've got everything together.
Mhm.
They're controlling everything that's happening. And then in the trailer, we see that obviously Galactus comes and there's something else going on that's deeper, darker, potentially, like you said.
Yeah, something was calling. Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, we talked about on this podcast at length about how I would be shocked if this universe that they're in survives this movie. Like I just think they are, and obviously spoilers for Thunderbolts, New Avengers, skip ahead 30 seconds. We know they're coming to 616 because in the post-credit scenes we see their ship. So it's happening. How it happens is going to be the story of this movie.
And so, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know this, but I was reading something about how Galactus is a singular entity. Like, there's no multiverse copies of him, kind of like American Chavez. So, because then someone brought up, this is something I was reading on, it was either Reddit or Instagram. It was like, hey, every property, like video game, comic book, what have you, the Galactus is the same Galactus. So when a universe dies, Galactus goes to another universe. So
That's interesting.
and
And I
people are
don't
like
know about
opening the door to that. It's like pretty much every form of a Marvel product is on the board if we're gonna bring stuff in. So I just a weird trivia tidbit to think about with that.
And that would be like, I would be okay with that, because if Ralph Ineson is, as this Reddit user says, the best part of this movie, it would be a shame to waste him in one movie and be done, because that's kind of Marvel's track record, is like they get a big villain, fight the villain, defeat the villain, movie's over, and they die.
Well, I mean, they did that to Gore, which I feel like he could have done a lot more.
Travesty. And you and I actually did the review on Thor: Love and Thunder, and we like that movie.
I mean, yes.
Like, we had pretty positive views of that movie. Gore is good. Like, Christian Bale is fantastic as Gore. But you can't take a cosmic being like that and defeat him in a movie and like expect it to be just like good. You know, it just
But then we've gotten the treatment we want with like Zemo, who he's just keeps surviving.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But that's the whole thing with Hollywood movies, is like there's got to be a finale to it. So then we're not always like, well, where's Gore? Where did he go? Gore should be around. He's always a threat if Gore's around. Right. But we kept high evolutionary after Guardians 3, so like he's around.
Yeah. Right. That's where it gets lost in translation from comics, because comics, nobody dies. And even if you do die, you come back to life.
Unless you're Uncle Ben. Unless you're Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben never comes back.
Uncle Ben always stays dead. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he ain't coming back.
But yeah, it doesn't translate quite as well to movies. And the MCU has done it better, obviously, than any entity that we've seen. Obviously, we had a little bit of the Snyderverse. We've had previous movies, but they were very, very, very loosely connected, if at all. Right. But the MCU has done a pretty dang good job of keeping it all together. But like, how do you continue pushing that narrative without new characters being introduced, new villains being introduced and defeated, and not dying? You know, it is a tough pickle that they're in. I get that. But Gore specifically, like any Earth person, fine. Like, if you defeat them in a movie, that's fine. Gore is a freaking cosmic being with the Necrosword. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't kill him off in a movie.
And that's what kind of sad. Is, like you said, the fearful. Like, they shouldn't kill Galactus in this movie.
Right.
And right. And I hope they end it where like they get away from him at the sacrifice of their universe. But clearly he's coming to, like, that would be, he's got to be the bigger bad in the 616, where that would team up the Doomsday people to be like, hey, you know, just let you know, Galactus is coming, and we need everybody, you know, everybody to ready up to defeat him, bad and good.
Right. So, yeah, that would be.
Again, it goes back to the Puppet Master thing, and it's all part of Doom's plan. So,
do you think if Galactus makes it to the 616, do you think Balia Shawl or whatever her name is, the female Silver Surfer, do you think she makes it too?
It'll be interesting. I wouldn't doubt if this Herald of Galactus dies and we get a known hero become the new Herald of Galactus when he comes into the 616.
Yeah.
But I also
think
I'm
that's a
also
good way
not
to
upset
do it.
with Gardner being this version of Silver Surfer. Like I have no issue.
Right. I'm perfectly fine with that. I do think
if she wasn't a redheaded character recast as something else. So like I like
fair.
fair,
exactly.
And culturally now
but
we're all the same, so it's fine.
Yeah. But I do think we need Norrin Rad at some point. So I think that would be a good way to do it if she dies with her universe and then we get like 616 Norrin Rad or something like that, you know. I think
Or
that'd be
Ghost
cool.
Rider, Silver Surfer, or Herald. What was he called? Cosmic Rider or something like that?
Cosmic Ghost Rider, yeah.
Norman Reedus.
That would be
showing
insane.
Up as Cosmic Rider.
Gosh. Well, and we've gotten rumors. This is not even a part of the nerd news that I'm talking about, but there's rumors, and this has been going on for freaking ever since Nick Cage was Ghost Rider. Okay, but we've got rumors swirling again that Ryan Gosling is considered being casted for Ghost Rider for like the MCU.
He'd be a good one too.
So I would like to see it. Yeah.
Well, do you think? Okay,
I'd like to see Nick Cage back, but
I was just gonna say we have to see Nick Cage and Doomsday as Ghost Rider.
Oh my god!
But it also doesn't make sense for Ghost Rider to be in Battle World, does it? Given his kind of entity aspect of it.
Well, I guess it depends on how they do Battle World, because in the comics, Battle World is like a collection of all of the planes of existence in that universe. So, like, I would assume that like Hell would be a part of Battle World.
It wouldn't be like a different universe's Ghost Rider. It'd be like, hey, Battle World has its own Ghost Rider. Right. It has its own version of Hell. So, and that would be.
I think.
But like,
it depends on how they like frame everything.
Characters from different universes. I don't. Yeah. Who knows what they could do?
Who knows? It'll be really interesting to see how they pull all that together, especially since, well, now they pushed it back to December 2026, I believe is what they pushed it back to. But it needed to be done because they just started filming like last month. Like there's no way they would have finished it.
And they're shooting back to back, like you said, right? Like they're doing both.
I believe they are. So I think we're getting it December 2026 would be Doomsday, and then December 2027 would be Secret Wars.
Just thinking in an alternate universe title, we would have already watched King Dynasty and been talking about it.
Wild. That's wild. A little sad, but at the same time, like,
maybe for
I don't know. Do you think it's a detriment to the MCU that we don't have Jonathan Majors as Kang anymore?
Well, the way they were setting up this next phase, it was all pointing to that. But given Jonathan Majors' circumstance and issues and what he may or may not have done, kind of threw the wrench into them, and they're already kind of losing faith in the mid fans. So they had to make a pivot and be like, hey, what do we do? Let's go Robert Downey Jr. Doom. We'll probably play off that Earth 616's Tony really wasn't the real Tony Stark. He was actually a Doom adopted child to the Stark, so like he was always Doom. Yeah. That's what they'll do. And then so like our Tony, which could bastardize the Infinity Saga, that our Tony really wasn't a Tony Stark. He was, but so it's also a comic book where it's like we can't get too deep into it. So
right.
I think they're on the right path. I'm all excited for it no matter what. So
yeah, same. I'm excited. I'm excited, and I'll be sitting in the theater regardless of what the heck they come
I'm ready to cry to watch all the X-Men I loved die growing up.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. They're all gonna die within the first 10 minutes of the movie, I bet.
Or they red herring us, and actually Doomsday, like we've talked about before, is actually Avengers versus X-Men.
It's not gonna be Avengers versus X-Men. I mean, I guess I wouldn't.
Thunderbolts wasn't. Thunderbolts.
I wouldn't put it past them to set up a scene where they do battle, but I don't think they're gonna make it a full like theme of the movie.
Well, didn't Alan Cummins talk about him fighting one of the current Avengers?
Did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
If he did. News to me. I don't know. That would be wild.
We'll come back to Hot and Snot about this.
Okay, sounds good. So anyways, lots of things to talk about when it comes to Fantastic Four. I think we're all excited for it. it's gonna be good. Fantastic Jurassic July. We're getting Fantastic Four, Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Rebirth, and Superman all in 1 month. It's gonna be wild.
He talks about. I'm sorry, coming back to it. He talks about having to fight Pedro Pascal. So I guess not really Avengers versus X-Men, but
yeah, not necessarily. I mean, there's gonna be. I mean, especially if they go Battle World, because the old like Secret Wars story is literally like them. I'm trying to remember. I don't even think it's Doom in the old one that does it. I'm trying to remember who it is. But in that one, he pits the heroes against each other, like for survival.
Interesting.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they frame it and what direction they decide to go with it. And that's going to set up the future of the MCU moving forward too. So somebody's going to come out of it. It's probably not going to be the old X-Men, but
it won't be, but all in still. Okay. So yes, you're talking about the Jurassic World movie Rebirth and the new Superman, which were part of my hots because I am just excited for July to come to like see all these movies opening weekend.
So good. Summer blockbusters are back, man.
They're back, baby.
It's gonna be so good.
Can't wait to not see it at the local theater, but maybe I'll be not in Benson anymore.
Wait, but you said you did inquire about getting a private screening for Fantastic Four, right?
Oh well, so not in Benson though, in Morris, Minnesota. Morris, Minnesota has a theater, like a small town theater, but they have a private room for about like 18 people that like you can rent out for like $100 and then pay like whatever their ticket price is.
And that would be like you said it was like a Thursday
like opening week. Because I just reached out like, hey, can I rent this out? And will you guys have Fantastic Four this early on Thursday?
I'm in.
And I got back where they'll pencil me in, but they don't know if they can show the movie that early. But they are willing. And I told them like it might just be me, but I will reach out to other people that might want to come. So. So it'd be like a 2:00.
Well, if it happens, I'm in. So
all right, I'll let you know. They said they reach out like 3 or 2 weeks before. So
okay.
Oh, we gotta come back. Hang on to Jurassic World. I want to touch on that. I want to go through these. You've seen the trailer for Jurassic World, right? Like you went to Thunderbolts and saw that trailer.
I'm so pumped.
I'm so pumped that they're going back more of like it definitely, and I hope the vibe stays the same because this is what we got. I feel like we got in the trailer. A more like thriller horror vibe. Like it's serious business with this stuff.
Man, like, that's the vibes that I felt during the trailer, and I'm like, that's like Jurassic Park is one of it's top 5 movie for me of all time. It potentially could be like it might be 2. Like it's that far up on my list for me. And to get those like thriller horror vibes back that we did way back in 1, and it kind of tapered off as the franchise went on. But man, that would be incredible if we got a true return to form like thriller horror out of Jurassic Park.
We deserve it after all the Jurassic World movies.
I cannot wait for that. I'm like slightly more pumped for Jurassic Park than Superman, if I'm being completely honest. I do like Superman, just not.
I would
my
agree with
superhero,
you after watching both those trailers recently. Like, yeah, I think I am a little bit more pumped because like, and I want to see a Superman movie. I am like excited to see it. But I'm just I'm seeing it for sure. It seems like there's so much going on where I just don't want to like. I'm doing the Scott Heger route where I'm only watching the one trailer and I ain't diving more into it. I just want to I just want to take it all in.
I saw the second trailer and I started watching and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to get into it right now. Like, so I stopped watching it, and I've seen like clips being posted online, but I haven't watched that whole second trailer because I'm just like, I don't want something to spoil me that I'm going to be like, because Captain America Brave New World, like if they had kept Red Hulk out of all of the promo and the trailers and stuff like that, that would have been such a good twist.
Right.
Obviously people probably could have seen it coming during the movie, but like instead we're all sitting there waiting for Red Hulk the whole time.
Like when is he going to Red Hulk on the ship? Where is he going to Red Hulk?
It was marketed poorly. Even if you market it a ton, I think that's okay as long as you keep some of that intrigue for the movie. But they just wasted it all in all the promo stuff they did, unfortunately. But yeah, that was my fear with Superman trailer. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to skip it. I'll watch it when it comes out. I'm excited for that too. Yeah. But yeah, the second trailer for Jurassic World, I was very pumped about. So I can't wait. I'm a sucker for those Jurassic World movies or park movies. I don't care. It's big dinosaurs. I love them.
And I hope it does well where we get a continuation of the story and the kind of just completion.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Because what do they do? Like, do they go where it's like, oh, we keep going to these islands, but like you would think like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just nuke these islands so that there's no more dinosaurs.
You would think so,
or
but
are we gonna get like
does it matter anymore now that they're on
with
mainland though? Like if even they, well, I suppose it
I would
still would matter because they're
assume nations would be like, these animals don't belong here because they're super predators.
Right.
We're taking them out. Like I just imagine that has to be protocol. But I guess
Yeah,
we'll find
for
out in Jurassic World Rebirth. So
I guess we'll find out and find out more about these crazy mutated monsters that apparently we're getting. So I'm excited for it. All right, the last piece of nerd news I got here is Rory McCann from Game of Thrones fame is now replacing Ray Stevenson as Balin Skoll in Ahsoka season 2. And now I'm saying this as it is nerd news, but this actually came out quite a while ago. It's probably like a couple of months ago now. But I believe they're currently filming for Ahsoka.
I believe so, because I've seen Rosario Dawson, I think, had taken some like pics of like her.
So it's kind of resurfacing. Like he's going through like interviews and like talking about, replacing him. And apparently him and Ray Stevenson were pretty good friends. So it's kind of cool that he is getting to reprise the role as Balin Skoll, because that character is fantastic.
Right. I'm both happy that they're gonna do that. Like they didn't just be like, oh, we're just gonna have him die and replace him with someone else.
Right.
So,
and it was a shock because obviously I think Ray Stevenson was only like 61, I believe,
like
59. When he passed away.
I thought he was.
Oh, 59, so, maybe. Yeah, maybe still, 61 now then. Yeah, that would make sense. But yeah, it was a little bit of a shock, but like I felt like it didn't quite send as many like waves as when like Chadwick Boseman passed, because
I was just out of, well, I mean, both were out of the blue, but like
they were both out of the blue,
but Chadwick was like Chadwick, in his 40s.
Yeah, he was like early 40s and nobody knew he had cancer, like it was just like, holy crap, like what the heck. But do you think, so obviously Rory McCann plays the Hound in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. He's a pretty menacing looking dude. I think he's going to do fine as Balin Skoll. Do you think, in light of this, like them immediately recasting Balin Skoll, not quite as the same cultural impact, but do you think that the MCU should have replaced Chadwick Boseman immediately?
Yep. I've been on that train moments after hearing the news. I just don't think anyone owns a character, especially in these type of IPs. Yes, it's nice that Rory's replacing Ray, and knowing that they were good friends, where it's like, oh, he probably could do a very good copy or imitation of Balin Skoll. So like that might be really, but I'm also fine if he does something his own, but kind of makes it what we saw. Mm-hmm. With Chadwick Boseman, and I think I messaged this in the group chat today because I'm in the middle of rewatching the MCU, and I'm in Civil War. This is the movie where we first see Captain America or Black Panther, and I made the comments like, wow, it really kind of sucks that we didn't have Chadwick Boseman during these last two phases, because I think it sets a different tone when you have an actor like that kind of be the centerpiece.
Yeah,
I think it would have totally changed the tone they would have went with, because he truly exudes like leadership when he's on there. So yes, I like to truly answer your question. Yes, I think they should have went out and tried to recast Black Panther, not did what they did.
Yeah,
and because yes, Chadwick was great, and I'm sure all the people that like worked with him, and this is me, just a regular dude sitting in a chair in middle Minnesota. So who gives a shit about what I say about this? But yes, I do believe in the whole scheme of things. I think they should have. I think they could have cast someone that would have just killed the role and been pretty good at it, but that didn't happen. So, right. and there's rumors that he might get like there might be a, and yes, we got Shuri as the new Black Panther. So like we do get that, but I've heard rumors and read stuff online that we might get a new Black Panther, like the T'Challa Black Panther back in the MCU, however that looks. So
great. Yeah, I mean, I am pretty much on board with you. I will say, like, obviously hindsight is 2020. So looking back on it now and the direction the MCU has gone, it's like, yeah, they should have recasted, because look, I didn't hate Wakanda Forever, but it was not as strong as Black Panther for sure.
Mhm.
And even a lot of the other, phase 4 movies too. Like to me, it's not up in that top level of phase 4 movies, unfortunately. So I think it would have benefited them to have somebody else in the role of Black Panther or T'Challa, and to have a Wakanda Forever to face off against Namor. Like, I think that would have
Mhm.
been really cool. No disrespect to Shuri and the actress that plays Shuri. Like, she did great in the movie, but I just don't think it hit quite as hard as it could have if they had recasted. And then maybe, you can, continue connecting those things and not have this like dispersed MCU, like non-connected MCU. Maybe you could have connected those strings
Right.
if you have somebody in that role, I don't know.
And this is gonna sound. I'm just gonna be bold. This might sound sexist, but a strong male lead as Black Panther, I think, is needed in this MCU. And I think our strong female lead, I think they should have led heavier with and probably got more involved in these other phases, is Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
Hmm.
I will be the first person to say this. I'm a Captain Marvel apologist. I think she does exude great leadership in this movies, and like my rewatch and stuff, like I'm more excited to watch the first Captain Marvel movie again. I think they should have leaned heavier in her in these last few phases to bring her out and be kind of a supporting role in these like side movies. So
Hmm.
just my thought.
All right. There you go.
My bold take,
Question for you.
I would die on the hill for.
We didn't know we had a Brie Larson apologist on our podcast, so here you go. I don't think she was as bad as people say she is. Like,
I
I
was
thought
pretty
she
hard
did
on that
fine.
first movie.
She was written kind of poorly in that first movie, and I don't think that's her fault necessarily. I think she's a great actress. So
Wait, she is, and
yeah,
and the second movie got a lot of crap because of the how bad the first movie just got hate on. Because I think the
yeah.
Captain Marvel or the Marvels movie is
Marvel's is
really
fun.
great.
Yeah,
I just
love
feel
that
like
movie.
these last few phases, people just like the cultural shift to be like, hey, let's just be mean and just like not enjoy these movies anymore.
Yeah.
Because when you go in my rewatch of like some of these movies that we have such a nostalgia, like, oh, they're great stuff, kind of are on the same par of some of these later phase movies that we consider are horrible movies. They're on par with that. So I just want people to go back and be like,
well,
you gotta take the
that
nostalgia out
and
because it's almost the same stuff we're getting.
right. And in combination with, like, we talk a lot about superhero fatigue, and us as nerds, we don't have superhero
Mhm.
fatigue. We're gonna watch this stuff all day long, every day. Anything you come out with, we're gonna watch, even if we know it's gonna be crap.
Right.
But the general public does have superhero fatigue. It's showing in the box office right now.
Well, hang on.
Thunderbolts.
Hang on. I don't like. I think it's deeper than that, Isaac. I don't think it's superhero fatigue based off the box office. We now live in a world where we went through COVID, where people stopped going to movies. I just don't think people are like. There's more people, like a few of us in the group, that like, the movie will be out on streaming in a month. I'm not going out to pay
True.
$20 to go see a
That's
movie.
true. And that's a societal issue for sure. So I'm with you on that, but I do think that like when I talk to people at work who are normies, as the kids say,
Yeah.
like, they are not in on what's going on in the MCU right now. They checked out already. Like, they are completely out of what's happening in the MCU. And that's like, I don't even blame them. There's so much happening that it's hard to keep up with as a fan even. But
Right.
yeah, it is what it is. I don't know, man. It's tough because like I said, we as nerds, we're going to see everything.
Right.
Anything they come out with, we're going to go and watch. Or we're going to watch as soon as it comes to streaming, like you said. I mean, there is a little bit of the societal aspect shifting away from theaters.
So the last part on the not going to theaters, we got two things. Our generation that was heavy in the early thousands to the teens probably didn't have kids, so we were gonna head to those. Now we do. Now it's like, hey,
Right.
I have to now figure when can I see it? Is it 2 months down or is it a few weeks down the road? Or well, now I have to wait for streaming because I have young children and I'm not going to. I don't have time.
Honestly, that's so true because like I have not been to so many movies that I've wanted to go see in the past like 3 years because of my kids, and I feel bad leaving all the kids with my wife when I go to a movie by myself and
Right.
enjoy
And I
a
did that with
movie.
Thunderbolts in the last Marvel movie, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, and it'll be nicer when we live closer to grandparents, where it's like, because Kelly likes one of these movies. Like, I would rather go with her to watch these
Right.
movies, and I'm not like coming back
Exactly.
like, it was amazing.
Yeah, right.
The one last thing I want to touch on, also Gen Z aren't really big moviegoers as like a
True.
whole.
Yeah.
So like that also hits into the box office. So it's like I feel like the metric needs to change on how overall this is measured, because I don't think it can just be measured like, yes, the box, and yes, I can say this. And then what was it when did Barbie and Oppenheimer come out? 2023. Those movies
Yeah.
prove that like that's not the case.
Mhm.
But that goes back to like, no, the Marvel movies aren't pushing the narrative, sure, but also comes to writing. If these always had good reviews, more people would show up. So
Yeah. Well, here's another little tidbit though. So Thunderbolts is nearing its theatrical run end. It's made about 350 million. Lilo and Stitch just opened this past weekend and it made almost 300 million in one weekend.
right,
People are still going to theaters. It's like a
a
once
kids
or twice a
movie's
year thing where
always going to
everybody
do
shows up.
well. A kids movie's
Right.
always going to do well, unless you're Snow White.
That's true.
Then
Yeah.
then you can go screw yourself. So
Yeah. But it's there. I think there is a level of superhero fatigue going on. I don't like to throw around that word because I think, again, as nerds, we're not tired of this stuff. We're going to watch everything that's happening. But the general public, I think, is like, oh, hey, there's another Marvel movie. Oh, dang. I didn't know that was coming out. It's definitely happening at work
sure,
for me. I don't know. I think it would have been interesting to see Chadwick Boseman recasted right away. It'll be interesting to see if they still do, because now you can go the route of like, you bring in another multiverse T'Challa, or with Wakanda Forever, we saw the end of the post credit scene where he's got a kid conveniently
right.
named T'Challa, right? Like, so you could potentially speed up the time a little bit and bring him in as well.
A little to bring you to the weeds. I'm just dragging you out. This is out of left field. So in Endgame, when they're trying to figure out time travel, remember when Bruce Banner or Professor Hulk pushes time through Ant-Man
Yes.
to make him old and young?
Right.
That's got to be used in the future, right? Whether we de-age Captain America a little bit, so then matches up what Chris Evans looks now,
Right.
or in that case, this is what responded: young T'Challa, the son of T'Challa, age him up to be like fighting form.
Yeah,
like
maybe
that's got to be come back to. They're
gotta
so
be
on
like
point with when they show us stuff like that.
There's got to be some ethical dilemmas with aging up a child so he can fight.
Well, watching
adequately as Black Panther, but
I know we as a whole group for the last 10 years have really been like, what side you're on with Captain America, Captain America and Tony Stark. And I might be in the middle now, because I totally forgot that Tony recruits. Like, I knew he recruited Spider-Man, but like he just totally plays off like, I didn't know how old he was. I didn't carbon date him.
Well,
like,
not only
he's in
that,
high
but he
school.
doesn't tell Spider-Man anything. He just literally is like, "You're coming with me to Germany to fight some people."
He basically groomed Spider-Man to make Captain look like the bad guy.
Careful where you're going with this, because this got me in trouble at the group chat a while ago. But yes, like, it is wild how everybody just totally forgives Iron Man for just kidnapping Spider-Man potentially against his will, like not like kicking and screaming,
he
but like
promised him stuff. He got him a new suit.
Right. Yeah. He's definitely manipulating him, as a minor. Like, it's just, there's some sketchy stuff going on there, man. And Tony, this is totally a me thing too. Like, I get how people can make legitimate arguments for being Team Iron Man. I've always thought he was just an arrogant, unbearable character from the beginning. And so I was never Team Iron Man ever at any point. Mm-hmm. The movies are great. And Robert Downey Jr. is absolutely perfect as Iron Man Tony Stark. Like, would never, ever try to replace him, because he was fantastic. But that's why I don't like him, because he played that part so perfectly. So, never have been Team Iron Man, never will be. Always Team Cap.
And that's okay.
But I respect some people on Team Iron Man that make legitimate arguments for being Team Iron Man. which you historically have. So there you go.
I'm usually one that will like make you suffer in an argument, and this is the one where it's like, no, they both have great points, but some people in our group are very much like die on the sword for which side they're
Right.
on.
Yeah, it is weird. Like, do I think that Cap made all the best choices in Civil War,
No.
like by blindly defending Bucky no matter what? No.
Right. His biggest flaw is not telling Tony ahead of time.
Right, exactly.
What
He made
Winter
mistakes.
Soldier did,
He made a
and like
lot
had to
of
sit
big
down.
mistakes too.
But also that's his redemption arc. That's what gets him to be able to yield Mjolnir. So
Exactly.
it's like without that journey, he doesn't defeat Thanos. So
Somebody posted something.
Did Kang make that path? Did Doctor Doom make that path? Someone made that path for Captain America.
Somebody posted something on Twitter about what was your best theater moment ever, and when the theater erupted during Endgame when Cap got Mjolnir, I literally was sobbing. Like, that was absolutely the best moment in the theater in my life, for real. Like, I'm not. There's no moment that even comes close.
I'm with you. That's for peak the like euphoria of like, yes, it's fine. Like, he deserves this. He's the guy. Is like the same the year before where like everyone dies or half the people die. And you're like the reverse of that. Like, what did I just watch? What are they doing?
That's what makes Infinity War so stinking good, is the payoff of Endgame.
Yeah,
was absolutely incredible. But if they didn't have a just phenomenal setup for Infinity War, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have been as peak as it was if we didn't get Infinity War. Some good times, man. Looking back at those movies, I'm like, oh, that's what I was going to ask you though. You're going through your MCU rewatch. Are you doing chronological order or are you doing release order?
I'm doing release order. That's because the last time I did a rewatch, I did the chronological order.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like, you start with Captain America, and this is how hardcore I went.
Captain Marvel.
No, I did the true one where you actually do the timeline of stuff. So like you had the stop and start stuff. So like I watched the Peggy Carter show. I involved the TV shows.
Oh, you threw Agents.
Yeah, I did. Like, I did the hardcore purist, like true timeline order. So
this guy.
And there's stuff where like you have to start and stop movies and shows to then finish a movie or show. Like, that's how hardcore I was. So this one I'm like, nope, I'm just doing the release order to get that like more of a nostalgia hit. So yeah,
you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right, we got to move on because we have a lot of
stuff.
Do
we just go to the top 6, or do you have some heavy?
No. Let's do hot and snot because I don't have a lot of them, so I won't be talking.
And the majority of stuff that was on my list for that, we did already talk about.
We talked about, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, all right, next up we have hot or snot.
Hot or snot.
All right. I'm going to just go ahead and go here. I don't even think I have any snots. Zayne getting married was my number one thing. We already talked about that. Congrats, Zayne. It was a fun wedding. All of our friends were there. A lot of nerdy stuff there too, which was really fun. Zayne had a Darth Vader tie clip, and all of the groomsmen had Stormtrooper tie clips, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously with Zayne being married, you're gonna get.
Did you know ahead of time that the bridal song for his bride walking was the Jurassic Park theme? Because Kelly looks at me and she's like, "Is that the Jurassic Park theme?" And I'm like, "I love you so much that you knew what that was."
Yeah, so they surprised us with that at the rehearsal dinner, or like the rehearsal on Friday night or whatever before the wedding. And when I heard that, I just about lifted up and elevated. Like, that was the best moment of that night for sure. I was like, oh my gosh, Zayne, this is the best thing ever. And it's funny because I think, to my knowledge, Annika can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the first time she watched Jurassic Park was with Zayne, from everything that I've heard. So Zayne actually put like a little like earworm in for the Jurassic Park
Annika's
theme
good
for
people.
Wedding.
I mean, to like, I'm not disparaging this at all, but like, to truly fall in love with Zayne, you gotta love what he loves.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's why it's like great that they connected and are married. So
I mean, their whole wedding theme was like puzzle pieces. Like, they fit together perfectly.
Yeah,
they're They're like pretty much made for each other. So it was a good weekend. That was pretty much it. We already talked about the rest of it, but a couple other things I have on hots. Number one is Star Wars Thrawn. Just finished that. That was the first book I've read since college. I have not read a real book. I've read a lot of graphic novels, but I just don't read books anymore. But I rent, like, on a whim. I was at the library with my kids, and I usually just go to the graphic novel section, grab a stack, sit down and read while they're like, you know, playing and reading and whatever. On a whim, I was like, I wonder if they have any Star Wars novels. I've always had the Thrawn novels like on my list, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go grab it. They had Star Wars Thrawn, which is the, I believe, 2017. Like, it's not the Heir to the Empire,
the new one that came out a few.
Yeah, it's the newer one. By Timothy Zahn. Read it, and I was like, dang, this is really good. I want to read more about Thrawn. So I'm gonna apparently be reading more books now. So
if you like that one, I'll make offline. I'll give you some suggestions of other Star Wars books that I thought were really good.
Give me a suggestion list, and we'll post that as well. So because I know there's a Thrawn Ascendancy series, so that's on my list. Heir to the Empire.
There's so much, Isaac. There's so many books. I know the last time you've been to my house, I have my Bible shelf of different Bibles, and then my Star Wars bookshelf. Like those
You're
are the
Star Wars novel
things.
guy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. So yes, give me recommendations, because I would like to start. Especially after reading
if you like
that,
Star Wars lore, if you like getting deep dive into different like here's some main characters that you saw in movies, but now here's more lore to them.
Yeah,
I got your hook.
And like Thrawn is such a good character, even before I shouldn't even say before, because he's technically created like.
And this Thrawn book is canon compared to the Heir to the Empire. It's no longer canon, right. So,
but like my first experience of Thrawn was Rebels. And then Ahsoka, but like in Rebels, he's such a good character. Rebels is just such a freaking good show. I love Rebels so much. But like it added so much more depth to my knowledge of the character that I was like, this is so cool. Like I ate up every second of reading that book. So I'm very excited to dive deep into more Thrawn books. So there you go. That was my 6 out of 6. Loved that book. It was great.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible, and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an Infinity Step.
Mickey 17 just came out like 2-3 months ago, I believe. It is now on HBO Max, or I think it's still Max, but they're going back to HBO Max for some reason. I don't know. Can't keep up.
Better name recognition with HBO on it. So
yes, it is now streaming on the HBO service that they have.
Formerly known as Max.
Formerly known as Max, exactly. But Mickey 17 is the one where Robert Pattinson plays a guy who basically dies for a job, and then they like reprint him. And he accidentally gets reprinted even though he's still alive. So there's 2 of him. Oh. So he plays 2 different characters that technically they're the same person, but they have 2 different personalities. And I knew Robert Pattinson was a good actor. Like I thought I've always kind of liked him. Twilight was the only one where I was like, oh gosh, like this is a little cringe. But like everything else he's been in has been great. Like I don't think I've not liked something else he's been in.
So that's 2 things on that. So there's another good Robert Pattinson movie where he's in space, like on a spaceship. I'll have to figure that one out and send it to you. Okay. And it's nothing like Mickey 17. So Mickey 17, when I first saw this movie being made, like the synopsis for it. So I'm just gonna do a flyover of this because I don't remember the name of what they've labeled this as. So another podcast listener called The Confessionals had this guy on, and The Confessionals is about people who have supernatural stories that they tell. There's this one guy that has a story about like how people in their youth get like abducted, go fight wars, they die, they get reprinted, blah blah blah. And then they send you back in time. It's a wild thing. And Mickey 17 very much seems like the core essence of that dude's story. I'm like, that's almost, and like when I first heard that podcast and him explaining like his story, I'm like, this would be a great show or movie. And Mickey 17 almost seemed like the little bit of like, it took little bits of that. So I need to go see it.
It does, it does take little bits of that. It would be like the origin story of how that like process.
How they really mastered it. Yeah.
Right. But it was good. Robert Pattinson's good.
He's a great guy. He's a great actor.
He's great. Yeah, he's a great guy. Mark Ruffalo plays the like villain, and he's like a
Okay.
super goofy villain, and I actually kind of loved it. I was
Oh,
like,
good.
okay, this works. Like it really is good. I remember watching Poor Things. That's the one with what's her name, Emma Stone. He kind of plays a similar role, Mark Ruffalo, in that one, like just this kind
Okay.
of like goofy villain. But this one, he like the goof level was like
The
cranked
goof was
up. Like
turned
he's
up. Yeah.
yeah, it was cranked up, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So, but yeah, everything else about it was good. It was kind of a weird sci-fi movie. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's like too weird for like the casual viewer, but if you like sci-fi, it's like it's awesome. It's great. So I'd give that a 5 out of 6. That was a solid
All right.
movie, really good. The last thing I have is Tales of the Underworld, which is they've been releasing these series on Disney Plus on May 4th every year. They had Tales of the Jedi one year, Tales of the Empire last year, Tales of the Underworld this year, and it follows 2 arcs, one with Cad Bane and one with Asajj Ventress. And Ventress is like post all the Sith assassin stuff. Cad
Okay.
Bane is like an origin story, so it's like timelines are different. And they did this with the previous series. Like the arcs are completely different. Like the episodes don't really correlate at all. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, especially with how short they're out. They're like
So they're kind
20
of just like
minutes.
one shots in a sense.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. They're like 20 minutes
They're
an
kind of.
episode. Like
I forget what they call that. It's not anthology series where it's just like a bunch. Is that what an anthology
yeah,
series
I
is? Where it's
guess
like
it
a
would.
collection of
Yeah, I guess
stories.
it would kind of be considered an anthology series potentially.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, I mean, I love both of those characters. Cad Bane is awesome. Asajj Ventress is really cool too. So it was really cool to see just get more lore. And we talked about that
I'm
earlier with like
all
the
about
Thrawn
Star
books.
Wars
Like,
lore. Star Wars lore is
give me it.
some of the best
Give
lore
me
out
it.
there.
Cad Bane is awesome too. I like if there's some novels about Cad Bane out there, I need to get some of those.
Daddy will hook you up.
All right.
Whether you want physical copies or there's some great Audible, like you can hear them read it to you, like books too, that are kind of like especially.
I did try Audible or like listening to books a while ago, and I can't focus on anything else when I'm doing it.
That is some people's problem. So I'm very much, especially now, I'm like I can only do a chapter at a time where I can really try hard to focus.
So like I think if I was in the car listening to it, I'd be fine. But like I tried it at work and I could not focus on anything.
Yep. You can't be doing something and listening to a book. Best place that I did it, mowing the lawn. Mowing the lawn, put my big headphones on and cranked with the volume, and off I went.
But yeah, any Star Wars lore that I'm going to get is fantastic. So 5 out of 6, it was great. I think I still, out of all those 3 series, Tales of the Jedi is the best one I think so far, because the Count Dooku backstory
that's a great one.
Chef's kiss. I loved that part of Tales of the Jedi. So that's still my favorite out of all of them. I don't know. Tales of the Empire was the only one that I was kind of like, I don't care about Morgan. What's her face? Don't even remember her name. The one from Ahsoka, the villain from Ahsoka.
Oh,
Morgan.
Yeah.
Something.
I know what you're talking about, but
that was her backstory, and was one of the arcs from Tales of the Empire. I was just like, I don't. Really
I would love to end on this with your Star Wars lore. I'm the biggest Shadows of the Empire fan for Star Wars, and I would love like if they did something like that with it, or they did like an extended universe like cartoon. Like I would be fine with that. Like I just want more lore on Shadows of the Empire because it is like my favorite genre of Star Wars lore, even though it's not even canon anymore. So
yeah, that would be awesome. I'd be down for sure. But yeah, Tales of the Underworld is good. 5 out of 6. That's all I got for Hot and Snot.
My hots were going to be the trailers we talked about, because I'm just thinking like that's something. So we've already talked about that. My snot for sure was going to be them moving back the Avengers movies, but I do get, as Isaac said, I think it makes sense just given timeline stuff and given how rushed some of these movies in the past have been. Like, let's give it some serious time. But I hope they kind of fill in those times with movies, and so maybe we might get like anyways, because we're not getting a show. Because that's another snot is Disney's like, we're doing more shows. We don't want to give people homework, and I'm like, F that. Your comic book fans want the homework. So
exactly, yeah.
But my other hot is if even if you're not married, but we've really enjoyed this as a married couple and really talking about the show and like kind of making fun of it sometimes. Sweet Magnolias on Netflix is kind of like I don't know the way to say it. It's just you got to go watch it if you're into kind of like those goofy romantic type of shows that take stuff way too seriously and kind of a little bit over the top, but like they do it so good and it's like a guilty pleasure for me. And I think now it's in its 4th season. And it's just like, how do they keep writing stuff like this? It's great, but
well, so it's like
go watch
several steps up from a soap type of drama.
Yes, it's a Netflix show, so
okay,
like 10 episodes a season. Like it's well shot.
And you're a Hallmark guy, right? Like so you like.
Oh yeah, so there you go. Thank you, Isaac. It is like Hallmark, but with just cranked to 10.
Better writing.
On like writing and visuals. Like money,
Okay.
They had money to make these shows.
Okay.
Where it's like Hallmark was like, we're on a budget because we pumped these suckers out. So
yeah. All right, we gotta finish our 16th movie this year by the end of the month.
We promised Hallmark 200 Christmas movies this year. we're only allocated about $1 million per movie, not show, per movie. And some of these movies, they only got like a week timeline to finish.
Oh gosh, that is so funny.
So it's not that
and so accurate in some respects, but
I think you and Holly would like love.
We probably
the
would
show
enjoy
together.
that actually.
Like, well, just shouting that out for you,
yeah.
for anybody who has a non-nerdy wife. This is a great show to start, I think, in my opinion.
So we've been rewatching Lost, and I think we're on season 5 right now. So once that rewatch comes to an end, we're gonna need another show to watch. So maybe we'll try out Sweet Magnolias.
Oh, you're not halfway. How many seasons are in Lost? 7?
6.
Oh, so it is okay. So you are almost
6, done. But the last 2 seasons, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, have less episodes than.
Okay. Yes,
that was back in the day when it was airing on
like 27 episodes.
Cable
season.
It was like 24 episodes per season. The first like 3 or 4.
Lost is like a 40-minute.
Yeah, it's like 40+
That's a
minute episodes. Some of those episodes are like nearing like 50+ minutes. So it's
Sweet Magnolias. Give it a shot. First season's really good, and then they kind of like they really play into like their grooves in the following seasons. So
good reco.
All right, that's all I got.
Is that it? That's all you got?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Next up, we got our top 6 Nicolas Cage movies.
We're going in 3, 2.
You're entering the top 6 on the Infinity Bros podcast.
Starting now.
So again, thank you to Mark, who might be the only Infinity Bro that might be able to do this with me, honestly. Like, Zayne was my only one that I had a question mark by. Zayne might be able to do it. Max, absolutely not. Robbie, doubt it. Jarrett, also doubt it.
I guarantee everyone in our friend group expect like you'd be the one on the movies who wouldn't have maybe seen a vast majority of movies, but you definitely, because being a Nick Cage fan, you have.
Yeah.
I guarantee everyone in Infinity Bros has seen at least 6 Nick Cage movies. I would guarantee.
Yes, they have seen them. They might not be able to remember them, but they have seen them for sure. Mm-hmm. My movie history is so niche. If you throw any kids movie at me, there's a 95% chance that I've seen it. I've watched most kids movies. Any action or anything from like the 80s and 90s, I have like zero knowledge. None. It's embarrassing when people are reference movies, like pop culture movies that I should know. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So I have another core memory that has popped in my mind. And this is an early episode. We did a top 6 of Keanu Reeves movies. And you came to the plate with just 4.
It was Keanu Reeves, I think. It was Keanu
Reeves. Keanu Reeves. Yeah, because I remember recording this because I would have been in Moorhead at the time. This is like 2019, so like a while ago.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, but no, not this list. We probably could have done a top 12.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that I've probably watched more than 6 Keanu Reeves movies since then. But
especially if you watch all the Wick movies.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I did go on a tear through those. Those are fun stuff. But we're talking about Nicolas Cage today. So we're going to go back and forth. I'm going to let you go first.
All
Number
right.
6. What you got for me, Mark?
I have not his first, but I think his first lead, if I'm remembering right. Valley Girl is my number
Ooh.
6. I think it's a
Wow.
good classic 80s movie, and it's kind of your first real taste of Nicolas Cage. Like a real, because I think his first movie's Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but he's kind of just like a background character.
If you
really doesn't have
blink and
anything.
you miss him in that one,
Yeah.
like he's
Where this is
barely
like
in it.
he's like the lead guy in this. So
Mhm.
so yes, Valley Girl's my number 6.
Wow. All right.
Hey, when you went on to like, oh, I'm gonna watch all the Cage movies, like, I wonder when he's gonna beat the amount I've watched, which you have, because
Yeah.
you really went on a tear. So
By now, yeah. That first year, I probably watched like 30 or 40 the first year that I was doing
That's
it. And
wild.
I've just kind of been plugging along since then, but I did go on a tear that first year I was doing it. So my number 6 is Raising Arizona. I believe early 80s, mid 80s.
yeah, I believe it's like 87, 88,
Yeah,
maybe 86.
maybe it is late 80s. Maybe you're right. But it's like
Mhm.
it's one of his first, maybe not even first, but like more prominent comedic roles. Plays a lot of serious, like straight man roles, but he's great in Raising Arizona. And there's a lot of other great supporting casts. Helen, or is her name Helen? I'm thinking of her name from Incredibles, Helen Parr, actually, but the voice actor that plays Helen Parr, I don't remember her name. She's the leading lady, and then John
Mhm.
Goodman is one of the villains, and it's a great time. It's just really fun. I really enjoyed watching that one. That's one that I would rewatch again for sure if I
Right.
had the chance. All right, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Lord of War.
Ooh,
We have a mutual friend with the group, Elliot, and this is who I just imagine what his father-in-law does. Like when he first told me what his father-in-law does, I was like, oh, he's Nicolas Cage from Lord of War. But yes, but basically, this is another movie where it's like, I feel like it didn't get a lot of like good reviews, but it's kind of like a good story on top of like just
right.
like Nicolas Cage not being normal Nicolas Cage,
Right.
like more of a
And he
serious role.
does quite a few movies where it's kind of like based on a true story type of thing. But like it's a solid one. It definitely flew under the radar, I think.
Mhm.
And I heard rumors that they were even talking about doing a Lord of War 2.
Oh, well, that'd
which
be
would be
interesting.
Especially because like in that movie, Nicolas Cage's character is technically a fictional character, but it's based on a real life character.
Yep.
I wonder if they would go the route of like, because when Brittany Griner was in Russia and we did the trade or whatever, that's why I was like, well, are these rumors swirling around because of that? Like, are we going to get a movie about exchanging an American like basketball star or something for an imprisoned
warmonger, basically?
That would be wild. Yeah, that's a good one though. My number 5 is Willy's Wonderland. This is like one of the best B movies of all time. I love it so much. Nick Cage does not say a single word in this movie. And it's like a ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy's, but it came out before the movie Five Nights at Freddy's. So is it really a ripoff? I don't know. But you're just watching Nicolas Cage beat on a bunch of animatronics. It's so fun.
It's a movie that like we didn't ask for, but turned out to be a movie that's like, it's got to be a must watch. I feel like if you're just a fan of the genre and of Nick Cage. So
yeah, it must watch absolutely for horror fans for sure. It's an absolute must watch. And then Nick Cage fans, it's a must watch. A lot of these movies I wouldn't recommend to the average person because
no, you indoctrinate them.
It's a B movie, like it's weird, but it's so funny. The fact that he doesn't say a single word is just
what makes it great.
I love it. All right, what was your number 4?
My number 4 is Color Out of Space.
Man, you're going deep on these films.
This is a newer movie of his, and it is like, this is the type of movie where it gets so freaking crazy, and like the ending to me is just like, what did I watch? Like, it's a movie that's gonna make you be like, what the?
This is the type of movie that you like, the ones that are just like, what the
super
heck?
obscure, and it's like, was this a metaphor movie? And I just didn't grasp it. And I looked at line, and it's like, I'm not finding anything about it. It's just like it's like someone's like, hey, I have an idea, And Nick Cage said yes to it, so we're gonna do it. And it's like, all right.
It is literally based on a H.P. Lovecraft short story. So
yes,
it is literally Lovecraftian. Like we're talking about
and that was something
Lovecraftian.
I did not know going. That's why I found it online. It's like, oh, that's why it was so weird. That's so yes.
It's very weird. Yeah.
Yep.
It's an interesting one. All right, my number 4 is The Rock. Now we're getting into some of his more famous movies. The Rock is with
This is Sean Connery, right?
Sean Connery. Yep. Where Sean Connery is actually a current convict. He's recruited to help with a hostage situation, and Nicolas Cage is literally just like a chemist, and he gets like roped into the whole thing. And the chemistry between Nick Cage and Sean Connery it's incredible.
I gotta go back and watch that movie. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
That's a great one, and it's like in Alcatraz, like the whole thing happens in Alcatraz, so it's really fun. It's just your classic 90s. Is it 90s? Yeah, I think it's 90s.
It's gotta be 90s because Sean Connery retired in 2001. So
oh yeah, yep, then it's got to be 90s. But yeah, just absolute classic 90s action film. It's great, so stinking good. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Willy's Wonderland. Like something to me, like with I think movies like this, it just kind of can supersede some of the other stuff. Is like the whole he acted without speaking or barely speaking, and just the presence he brought and like the aurora and the vibe. His riz was off the charts. I feel like
his riz was off the charts. He was farming the whole movie.
Skibiding, Scooby-Doo.
You can tell we're millennials, can't you?
Yep.
Oh man, yeah. No, I agree with you though. He just like literally sits there, and like the camera will like zoom in on him slowly for way longer than most movies focus on an actor. And it's so funny. I love that movie. My number 3 is Con Air. There's just so many good actors in that movie. It's fantastic. John Malkovich is great in it. Nick Cage playing alongside all those fantastic actors. It's priceless. It's stinking. Like if you're looking for action comedy, this is the definition of action comedy.
It is a perfect representation of what 90s action movies are, in my opinion.
I would even venture to say it's a perfect representation of Nicolas Cage as an actor.
Yes.
If you're looking for a Nick Cage movie, this is the one you want to watch. It's amazing. So that's my number 3. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is National Treasure. The first one.
So good.
Great stuff. I think I'm going to be bold on this one too. I think that National Treasure might be a movie that kind of like is almost perfect for what, this is going to just sound redundant and dumb, perfect for what it represents and is as a movie. As like the of its time, of the story it's telling. And I just feel like there's not a beat missed on how the story's told and how we kind of just get the whole thing played out. I don't know, that just sounds really, speaking that out. Really stupid,
I think that definitely makes sense. I feel where you're coming from for sure.
But that's my number 2. National Treasure is great. I'm sure just as you, super disappointed when they did the Disney Plus show and like didn't involve him at all. Just seems.
I watched one episode of that and checked out because it was
bad.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was not good. Would have been great. I mean, there's been rumors swirling around about National Treasure 3 forever. But if Nicolas Cage is in it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Ain't happening. My number 2 is Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It's what got me going on this whole Nicolas Cage kick. Like, I liked him. I thought he was funny as an actor before. But then when I saw him acting as himself alongside Pedro Pascal, oh my gosh, they are hilarious together. And that was a viral meme, where they're driving the car and they're high and they turn to each other. Oh, that's such a great encapsulation of that movie. It's so fun. Like, one of my favorite parts of that movie is when he goes down into the basement of Pedro Pascal's character, and it's literally a shrine to him.
To like all of his stuff.
And he's like, he doesn't know how to feel. He's like kind of disgusted by it, but he's also like loving it at the same time.
Was that the same scene where he finds the pillow where like if you brush it over his face. And I was like, this is so on par, because I feel like that must have been like, hey, here's this pillow that's being produced, which I'm sure is not licensed and you have no profits to.
Yeah.
Of course, Superfan's going to have one of these. And it's just,
yeah. Well, it's like Nicolas Cage comes and meets the memification of himself in a movie. The meta is just off the charts, and I don't know how else to like quantify that, but it's fantastic. I absolutely love that movie and will always love it.
Right.
All right. What's your number one Nicolas Cage movie?
My number one is Con Air. Con Air is my number one Nicolas Cage movie.
Good.
Just like, you had it on your list, and I was like, yep, that's, like I said, it just is kind of like that perfect 90s nostalgia movie for me at this point, which is another movie on top of The Rock I need to go watch again.
Yeah,
I haven't probably seen it in a few years, but
see, like, I mean, The Rock and Con Air obviously both made my list. They're both great movies, but like, Con Air knows what it is and it just goes for it. The Rock plays it a little bit more serious,
right?
Even though it still has kind of like the silly action movie vibe to it a little bit, but like Con Air, they're just like, nah, screw it.
Yeah,
we're just gonna make this a fun, awesome movie, and it is. It's so amazing. My number one Nicolas Cage movie is actually National Treasure. First Nicolas Cage movie I ever watched. That was one movie that we watched so much in like high school, like growing up. That's part of my childhood. And coming back and rewatching it as an adult, it holds up. Like, the score is great. It's just perfect. Nicolas Cage plays a perfect role. And like you kind of mentioned that it's like a perfect storm of like perfect things in that way. And I don't think there's another movie that really can replicate the vibe of an American treasure hunter. Like, I'm sure there's movies out there that attempt to do that kind of thing. I don't think they're ever living up to National Treasure. It's just so stinking good. Everybody's great in it. I love it. It's the best.
Another thing we have to go on to that, or I had to bring up on National Treasure. I had to remember, it's like, I'm pretty sure this is the last movie I had on VHS that I got on VHS. Like, I don't think I bought it, but someone got it for me. And I was like, wait, when did it come out? 2005. So literally in 2005, I own this movie on VHS and is now a 20-year-old movie.
One of the last movies that ever was put on VHS, maybe?
I think 2007 is when the last movie
really
would have. I think so. And on trivia, just like, the first DVD movie I think is Twister. Go look that up. That's a good trivia question to let everyone know. The first DVD movie I think was Twister. So
a lot of good Nicolas Cage movies, though. Hey, me and you, next time we're on an episode together, we're doing a top 6 worst Nicolas Cage movies. So you better watch up.
All right. It's
in the notes for next time.
I'll do it.
Let us know what your favorite Nicolas Cage movie is, because we want to know. It would be awesome if you could hang out with us on social media. You can hit us up at The Infinity Bros. Check us out at theinfinitybros.com. That's got all of our links. You can listen to all of our shows, or you can catch us on any major podcast platform. Mark, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for talking Nicolas Cage with me, of all subjects.
Anytime. I'm always happy to talk about Nick Cage.
You are maybe one of the only... No. Zayne would talk Nick Cage with me, even though he doesn't quite have the depth of knowledge that you have on the subject. But he'd at least be willing to entertain me. All the other guys would just scoff at me. So... But I'm glad you're the one doing this with me. So thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
And thank you, listener, wherever you're listening, however you're listening. Thank you so much for making us a part of your podcast experience. We love you 3000. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at the Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.